All right, now let's add a button for deleting reminders. So here in the reminder list component, I want to add a button next to each reminder. So here's our list item. I'm going to break this down so we can see clearly. So right after the title, I want to add a button with a couple of classes, BTN and BTN Danger, to make it look red. And let's call this delete. So here's what we get. It's not too bad, but it's a little bit too red. So let's use an outline button. So I'm going to change the second class to BTN outline danger. Look, that is better. Now the button is currently too close to the text, so let's add some horizontal margin. For that, we're going to use a bootstrap class called M for margin, X for horizontal, and 2, which is the amount of margin we're going to apply. Now, that is better. Now the last thing I want to do here is making the corners round. And for that, we're going to use another class called rounded pill. That is much better. Now let's implement deleting reminders. So you know that reminder list is only responsible for rendering the list of reminders. So we're not going to delete reminders in this component because the state lives in the app component, right? So this is where we're going to change the state. So here we're going to define a function for deleting reminders, and then we're going to pass that function as a callback to the reminder list component. So let's define a function called remove reminder. This function should take the ID, which is a number. And for now, let's just log the ID on the console. Okay. Now we want to pass this function as a callback to the reminder list. So first, we need to change the props interface. Here we're going to add a new property called onRemoveReminder, which is a function that takes a number and returns void. Okay. Now back to the app component. We're going to set onRemoveReminder to remove reminder. Okay. Now the final part is to go in the reminder list component and handle the click event of this button. So we set click to, here we pass an arrow function, and here we need to call onRemoveReminder. So let's grab it here, onRemoveReminder, and then we call onRemoveReminder and give it item.id. So item is our loop variable. Okay. Now I made a mistake here. This should be onClick. Okay. Good. So let's test our implementation up to this point. Back in the browser, delete, delete, delete. Now let's look at the console. So here are the IDs of the reminders I tried to delete. So all the plumbing is working. Now the final part is to actually delete these reminders. So back in the app component, in this function, we're going to go to our reminders array and use the filter method to get all reminders except the one with this ID. So reminder.id does not equal ID. And then we can pass the result to set reminders. As simple as that. Now let's test it. So delete, delete, delete. Beautiful. So deleting is working. Next, we're going to implement the ability to add reminders.